All right, welcome to the American edition of International Soccer Break with, of course, Rahi and Roy. There they are.
The double R.
The double
R.
Oh, yeah. Tag
double R.
team.
There they are. You can see them in up close. Look at that right there.
Johansson, the one on the right. Well, that's me. Damn it.
Look at that. Roy didn't wear his U.S. soccer gear, but first I have a quiz for you guys. So let's start off here. Do you guys recognize this place? Where is this?
Oh,
It looks like my middle school baseball field, but
it's a little tropical for your middle school baseball field, Roy. Did you go to middle school in the Caribbean?
Nope.
I don't know. This looks to me
looks very puddly.
Yeah. Let me give you guys
rain. It's rain. There's a lot of rain there.
There's rain.
I'll give you guys a hint. Right? Ready?
Grass.
Here's a hint. Oh man.
Is that?
You guys want to see that again?
The same image, but with players on it now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. There they are.
Man.
My captain, captain, right there in the middle.
There you go. So, of course, what we're talking about is Couva, because the U.S. men's national team takes on Trinidad this week for all the marbles. But first, we must revisit history.
I think I appreciate that you're doing this because I think we have to exercise those demons. It's been so long, and finally we've almost come full circle to this moment where we're going back to Trinidad, and we have to sort of get this out of ourselves, right? It's I've been sitting with it, Roy, for so long, like a weight that's on me. And this is actually the root of a lot of Roy and I's disagreements about the trajectory of U.S. soccer. Because before this game in Couva, I remember very well, Roy. Do you remember we had a lunch at Wahoo's Taco? By the way,
Wahoo's Fish Tacos.
Great
Some
spot.
of the worst fish. Did you say the best?
I think it's very good.
I do not think it's good.
I do
not like Wahoo's.
I think Wahoo's is defunct.
It's gone?
It should be.
I think it's gone. It might be gone.
Wow.
Any viewers out there, please let us know in the comments if Wahoo.
It damn well should be. Those are some very bad fish tacos.
No, they were
I think I'm
good.
bothered that they're mostly grilled.
That was probably the last time you ate there, Roy. Probably.
It was.
Right before this game, the day before. And I remember telling you, there's no way the U.S. is not going to qualify for the World Cup. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I didn't sleep for 6 weeks after that day. 6 weeks. I slept an average of, I would say, 1.5 hours a night. This was a living nightmare. It was an out-of-body, surreal experience watching that game. I remember after the Wahoo's Fish Tacos, we didn't watch it together. I watched it alone at Q's bar, billiards bar, by myself, staring at the screen. There were a few American outlaws in there that looked very depressed. And it was just the most excruciating, gut-wrenching, I wanted to scream and cry at the bar, but you can't because it's not socially acceptable. And it was just a horrible time, man. It was a horrible time.
I was at my office because you have to realize there was no reality in which I believed that the U.S. wouldn't qualify, that they would lose against a Trinidad team that had nothing to play for. I mean, I remember being in the office. The first time I was at my computer because I thought this is a formality. I mean, I think for those of you who don't remember, the U.S. teams of the 2000s, you never had a shadow of a doubt that they wouldn't qualify. That wasn't even an option. It never even crossed our minds that they wouldn't qualify for a World Cup. I mean, the shock of it in that moment was I couldn't even comprehend it at the time. I remember I threw a bar of soap while I was taking a shower, and there was an indentation on the wall of soap that remained there until I moved out of that apartment.
Yeah. No, look, this is completely honest. It's strange. My personal life took a big hit following Couva. Actually, there was a lot of bad things that happened in the next few years following that. So I don't know if you want to say it's some sort of existential thing, but I do believe there was something, in the air or something during that period of time. There's been a global pandemic after that as well. So I think that set the course.
Yeah.
And I'm being completely honest, that
String
set the
theory.
course for some kind of strange occurrences.
You know what I remember? I remember after that game, Rocky, you didn't watch soccer for about a year and a half after that.
I didn't watch the U.S. team. I stopped watching.
You stopped
the US
watching
team.
all U.S. teams. You used to watch the U17s, the U20s. You would watch every tournament. You'd follow the young players. You'd follow the players in MLS and Europe, everything. You stopped entirely.
I did.
For what I remember as being a year and a half or so.
Yeah,
And it was
about
so
a year
weird
and a half.
texting
I
you.
actually
would text
stopped.
you about stuff, and you just wouldn't care. You would leave me on red. You wouldn't respond to my US stuff. I'd send you interesting young players. I think around that time, I was sending you Pulisic stuff, his escapades in Dortmund, scoring goals in Dortmund. You wouldn't respond to it. You didn't want anything to do with it. Oh, man.
No, you're absolutely right. I didn't. And the scale of that failure was so unimaginable that I felt like I couldn't reinvest in this team. I needed a break. I need to cleanse myself, because how could you have failed in that way? It just made no sense to me. Everything about that game made no sense. Bruce Arena playing the same team again. Every game he had done this thing where he had alternated between the home team and the away team. And for some reason, he didn't change the team. It was the entire thing. And it just drained me so much emotionally that I couldn't bring myself to watch that team again. I just couldn't.
Stop watching MLS after that.
Let me show you who had a fantastic game. Let me tell you
guys.
guys who had a fantastic game that day. And I mean this in the most sarcastic way possible.
Oh, God. No.
There he is. Tim Howard had the absolute worst game that I've ever seen him play that day.
But he shouldn't have been playing. He was injured. Brad Guzan was the away goalie at that time. He should have played that game.
Right. So let's quickly, before we move forward into a more uplifting mood, just take a quick look at some of these cast of characters that were on that team.
Oh my God, I forgot Darlington Nagbe was there. One of my favorite center midfielders in U.S. history. I freaking love that guy. I'm going to stick by it. If he would have stuck with the U.S., he could have done some damage for us. He could have done some serious damage. But what a squad, man. Jorge Villafaña, the Sueño. You guys remember Sueño MLS? The reality show competition where it was mostly Latino players. It was all Latino players, I think. And they would bring them in to compete, and the winner had a chance to trial with the MLS team, and he won. And he went to Chivas USA.
Our logo is blocking Paul Arriola, but it should be blocking all of those guys at that time after that performance.
Oh, God.
It's a really cheesy image of Tim Howard. My goodness. No wonder we lost that game.
Are we done with this, or you guys
want to? Tim Howard, it seems like he was cropped from another photo, because the rest of the guys aren't even smiling.
It's a really bad picture. It's a really bad picture.
What a squad, man. Bobby Wood, Matt Beasler. None of them. Oh my goodness. Just Pulisic. That's it.
That's it. That is it. Which after that, it's just something that has to be done. Okay. So let's move forward now. Any parting notes on that? Anyone want to say anything else about Couva, or are we done with it?
Never again.
Okay. Okay. In all seriousness, now we have a very important group of matches coming up against Trinidad. It is home and away. And for those that don't know, this is for qualification for the Copa America. So we are not qualified for the Copa America. Let me say that again so everyone hears this. We are not qualified. So if we do not win this tie against Trinidad, we will be out of a tournament that we are hosting in the US.
Oh, God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Leading up to a World Cup, we will have 0 meaningful games. Not a single meaningful game between now and the World Cup if we don't make Copa America. It'll be all friendlies, Nations League. Those are not meaningful. Let's be real. Friendlies and Nations League is all we will have between now and the World Cup if we do not qualify for this. This would be disastrous. Not missing the World Cup disastrous, but absolutely disastrous.
This would be far worse.
It's
Oh.
not going to happen. Don't worry.
That's what you said. That's what you said in 2017.
Yeah, but
my friend.
Wahoo's closed down. That was the problem. All right, so they're
Wow.
gone now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have a fish taco. I won't have a single fish taco until we qualify for Copa America. How about that? No fish tacos until we qualify for Copa America, which will happen on Thursday. It'll be a formality in the next leg.
Funny
Okay,
enough,
let's-
I had a fish taco today.
Really?
I don't know what that means for this,
No
but I
more.
did have a
No
fish
more
taco
worry.
today.
Oh, look at that. This is such a much better picture. Like even the layout, like the way it's designed, it's just much more calming. Gives you a sense of reassurance.
Okay, so two big
I don't
names
know.
we don't see on here: Christian Pulisic and Timothy Weah.
Yeah, we don't have international caliber wingers on this squad. When I say international caliber, I mean top 20 international team caliber. Zendejas, I think, has proven time and time again he is not at the national team level. Brendan Aronson is having a hell of a crisis, guys. My goodness, every time he steps on the field for Union Berlin, what a mess. The guy simply can't seem to play the sport right now. I don't understand what's going on with him. It's very clearly mental, but I don't know if either of them start. It's probably going to be Kevin Paredes in a wing.
But he's been good. He's been good.
Kevin Paredes, he's been okay. He's been good for what is he, 19? For a 19-year-old breaking onto the scene. Sure, but is he good to be a starter for the national team? Absolutely not. That's not the level he's at. But it raises the question, could we go to a 3-5-2 and start Pepe and Balogun up top and push up Serginho Dest into more of a wingback spot? Push up, who's our other guy, Lund, a little bit further up the field. That's an option based on the players we have available. That'll show how flexible Berhalter is. If he's learned anything from his last stint with the U.S. men's national team, that he needs to be able to be flexible based on who he has. He can't force players into positions they're not ready for or that they don't play. So
I actually think that's not a bad suggestion. For once, Roy, I think you might be right. That's actually a good idea. This is an opportunity to try something different, to play, put two semi-strikers on the field and see what happens.
I would love
Okay.
that. I would
We
absolutely
don't- we
love it.
don't-
We're missing the center backs for it. We would need a Brooks. We would need a Aaron Trusty for that.
His name is Austin. Austin Trusty.
Austin, yes, Austin Trusty. These are the kind of players we would need for a 3-back. We could probably make it work with what we have, but again, it's forcing players into positions they don't really play on a regular basis.
All right, I'm going to cut through the chatter now. We saw the roster, obviously, and all that, and your guys' musings. Is there any chance that we do not win this tie? So just for reference, for those of you that are just getting into soccer, it's going to be a home and away situation. So the aggregate score, the first game is here in the US tomorrow, and the next game is next week. And based on the aggregate score, that will decide who is going to Copa America. Is there any way we lose?
No, absolutely not. There is no way. If this happens, I would retire from rooting for the US for the next 5 years.
Next how many years?
5 years.
Oh, 5. So you'd skip the World Cup.
I would skip the World Cup if this happened.
In the US, you would skip the World Cup. You wouldn't go to any game,
go to
nothing.
every other game aside from the US game. I'd watch.
Okay, so
every
you'd
single other team.
still be a soccer fan because last time you
Yes.
kind of left soccer altogether.
No, I left American
Kind
soccer.
of did. Okay, that's why you left MLS. Okay, understood. Is there a chance?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're known to completely underperform away. So if we don't, and did we confirm, is this is aggregate goals, away goal rule or not? Do we know?
Yes.
It is, okay.
No, it is. I don't believe it's a away goal rule, but actually that's a good question. Is it a away goal rule? Whatever. Forget that. It's not
It doesn't
important right
really matter that much.
Yeah.
So I feel if we don't win by at least 3 goals at home, we could face some trouble against Trinidad away. That's what I think. We've faced trouble there before. We faced trouble against any CONCACAF team away. Against El Salvador, we've lost against Panama away. We've lost against Honduras away. We've lost against El Salvador. We've lost against Trinidad. We've lost against teams that we should never, ever struggle against.
Before I let I know Rahi's chomping at the bit to say something. Let me repeat what you just said, Roy, and I want to make sure that we have this in writing here. So you believe that there's a chance in a two-leg tie, not just one-off game, in a two-legged tie, that the U.S. could lose on aggregate to Trinidad and Tobago.
We are missing our two best attacking players.
Yeah.
So our attack might sputter at home. This is the first time in a while where we're going to play a game without our two strongest attacking players, Timothy Weah and Christian Pulisic. They're not in the picture. We're going to be figuring out a new lineup, a new way to approach the attack, the box. We play on the wings every single game. That's our game. We don't have our wingers. So yes, there is a chance we play this home game and we score one goal, or we don't score a goal. We tie it 0-0. There's also a chance we win 5-0, but I've seen this team on a bad day. They don't beat a team like Trinidad.
Okay.
We also don't beat a team like El Salvador, as I have countless examples.
Okay.
So yes, there is a chance. It's a small chance, but it's a chance.
Roy is stuck in a time machine. It's because he ate a fish taco or whatever. He's transported himself back to right before the 2018 World Cup. That's where he is, to 2017, to October 2017. That's what you're living in, Roy. You still think that the roster that we saw then, that's the one that's going on to the field on Thursday. But that's not who's playing. Flo Balogun is playing. Weston McKennie's playing. Gio Reyna's playing. Yunus Musa's playing. These are the guys. Serginho Dest is playing. Remember who you are, Roy. Remember who we are now. We're never going back to those days. We're never going back to what we were. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror, Roy. Look at yourself in the mirror.
I'm looking at myself on the camera here.
There's a mirror right there.
And remember that you support the new American team. The American team full of youth, promise, skill, talent, all of the above.
Okay.
Never go back to Wahoo's, Roy.
Okay. So what is the prediction? What's the prediction? First game, U.S. Trinidad score
7-0 USA.
Okay. After all of that, he comes around with that. All right, Rahi, what you got?
I think 3-0.
Okay. I think that we get it done. I'll say 4-0. But everyone, tune in to USA versus Trinidad. Hopefully, we sold the game for you. But if you're thinking of not watching, remember this is the future of the U.S. program that's pending on these two games, because we will lose one U.S. soccer fan here. The other one will definitely go into a dark depression, and I'll have to find new people for this show. So that will be sad reality. So go USA, beat Trinidad. You know what's funny is I would never be that hardcore about. I like the islands, man. Trinidad's a cool place to go, but now after Couva, we're gonna win. We're gonna beat you guys. Beat Trinidad. Beat Trinidad. Go USA.
Vamos USA, carajo, vamos.